Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Geeks and Degenerates. Yeah, that's strange. Because today we're doing the Passion of the Christ celebration. Since it is Good Friday and it is Holy Week, talking about this movie seems fitting. Just that our names doesn't really mesh together. Passion of the Christ by Geeks and Degenerates. Interesting combo. Uh, with me is John, as always. How are you today, sir?
I'm on my last day of like this whole crash diet thing, and so if I sound tired, it's because Enzo made me watch this movie. Okay.
Wow.
No, but like, yeah, I'm doing alright, I guess. I lost weight.
Nice.
Yeah,
Um,
but I hate myself every day. Thank God today's the last day where I hate myself.
oh well. Well, were you forced or were you brought to this movie or did you just catch it on cable? I doubt they showed it on cable though.
This was not on cable. This was I for sure. It was never on cable.
Right.
No, I remember just like you, they kind of forced us to not kind of they forced us to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's required watching because after
What?
all.
Yes, the reason why I'm kind of pissed off about it is because they showed this movie not to teens or like 15-year-olds who are like probably a little bit aware of what's happening. They showed this to 8-year-olds to 7-year-olds, and look how beautiful. Yeah, one of the teachers said it was a beautiful movie. I was like, the entire time I was like, I don't want to look. But if you don't look, you're a heretic. But like, yeah, it was a bit hard to watch, and some kids would go like this. The teacher would like pull their hands out. I'm like, okay, I look. I don't hate the movie because it's a movie. I hate the movie because of what I went through with it.
Yeah.
So
Same
just
here.
letting y'all know. Just letting y'all know. It's not the movie's fault. It's mostly the people.
Your history with it.
Yeah, the people around it.
Oh.
Not the people who made it, but I mean like let's say the school. Let's just say the school.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. We went to the same school and thankfully at least they made me watch this when I was like second year high school. So I
Yeah,
was a bit more mature. I like to believe anyway. But yeah, the teacher was crying, everyone was crying, and I was the only one. Just like, I feel sick. Help me. For good reason. Not because of the movie itself. Well, kind of because of the movie itself, but like, just being forced, like Clockwork Orange, just watch. Like, okay,
exactly.
yeah,
Look, as a Christian myself, uh, okay, we don't wanna like lean on to the whole belief system here in Jesus degenerates.
yeah,
But I will say, I see the beauty in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. I
yeah,
see, oh, look what he went through for us, and we're like, all right, that's great, that's cool, but it does not mean we want to see it.
yeah,
To everybody who is probably a teacher or in a religious school, and you think it's a good idea to show kids this as a oh look how much Jesus loves you kind of movie, you are going at it wrong,
yeah, yeah,
and you all know that.
yeah. But yeah, after the movie, me and Edwin were just like, man, this movie is something else. But yeah,
You just had to just like bleach a little bit.
yeah, I know. Yeah, full disclosure, Jomer said he was Christian. I am an atheist. But there are things I take away from this movie that I like.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, same here. Same here.
and if you didn't know, this movie is about the arrest, trial, and execution of Jesus of Nazareth, who, by many accounts, is a real person. By a lot of accounts that are not the Bible existed, so there's that. Uh, and yeah, we start off in the garden, right? Of Gethsemane. I think that's how you pronounce it. And
Man, like, look, I might be the Christian here, but you know more than I do.
yeah, I did some more research, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
asking his father, who's God, can you please relieve me of this burden I'm about to endure? I like how they humanize him. because that's how you get people invested in your main character to humanize them.
Yeah, I like that route that they made, like where Jesus like Jesus not all like for sure he wasn't like I'll take that burden and everything with it. Don't worry, I got you. Homie. No, no. For sure he was terrified. For sure he was scared that he's gonna go through hell and back for these people who don't really care about him.
Yeah.
Oh, especially for his apostles, but like for majority of the time of this movie, everybody was spitting at him, tossing rocks,
Just
and
the
the
worst
entire
of
time,
humanity.
yes. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like even the conquering Greeks were like, "Y'all gotta calm down." What the
Romans.
fuck?
Romans.
Romans.
Yeah.
Sorry. The conquering Romans. They were like, I mean, we fucked you guys up, but like, y'all gotta chill.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, he wakes up his disciples and he's about to be arrested. And yeah, of course, if you know history, you know the Bible, you know it goes down where he's betrayed by Judas.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, 3,000
Jesus
years.
doesn't make it out of this one.
Well, at least not for 3 days.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Betrayed by a kiss by Judas and is arrested. And right when he's arrested, that's when the abuse, the beatings happen. Like, oh, we're starting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like one guard just takes the chain, just whips him. Like, oh man, okay.
Yeah.
And then they bring him to the high priest, and I don't think a lot of our Sunday school lessons really show us why he was such a threat to the higher order, which is he was threatening the other religious people who were like, hey, this is our main way of making money, and he's threatening that. So
Right.
he's a threat to us, so we have to make it look like it's not only a threat to us, it's also a threat to
But
Rome.
everybody.
Yeah.
To Rome as well. Yeah. And you gotta love how the no, you don't love it, but like the way that they play the politics of like, hey, our religion, we are not allowed to execute. So we're leaving him to you guys. Romans, you guys are very good at executing, right?
Like, this is your job. He's a threat to you, too. I like they also say that, like, oh, he was arrested in secret. This is not a public arrest. It's like, you have to keep it hush-hush. That's why when the Romans come along, they're like, what's happening? And the guy's like, we just got some crazy person. It's fine. Go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And throughout this entire time of like the trial where people were like pretty much dictating on how Jesus will end, we get Judas who's pretty much hallucinating and a little bit of a horror film.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect it. When I was a kid I was like, ah!
First it was the werewolf, and now the children are like, what the fuck is happening?
I wasn't really like so much scared of the children. I was like, I just want to. Sorry, if a little kid's like picking on me and he's like kind of yelling at me and spitting at me and biting my hand, I'm like, all right, little shit. And you look that ugly, I'm like, all right,
Like,
sorry.
oh well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's hallucinating, and he commits suicide thereafter. But
Was that in the Bible?
yeah, I think they mentioned it once.
All right.
If I remember, it's been a hot minute since I read it.
But god damn.
And well, of course, you guys know how the trial goes down if you know history, where they ask him the one key question, like, "Are you the Son of God?" And he says, "I am." And then that's when the priest rips his shirt out. He's like, "You're a blasphemer. You're guilty."
I'm sorry, I laughed at that. I laughed at that scene. He was like, "Are you the Son of God?" I am. I was like, why? For sure, that's a very expensive robe you have there.
Yeah.
A little bit of a well, you got money.
Yeah. It's like, you really want to waste good money on that? They're probably doing some exaggerated expression, but yeah. Again, after that, they start beating him again. Like one will to stop. 2 hours in.
I swear, this is straight up bullying. Like, I mean, it's not just bullying, but I mean, like at the start where they spat at his face and start slapping him.
Yeah.
Like a Roman guard. Oh no, he was an Israeli guard.
Temple guard.
Yeah, a temple guard comes out from behind Jesus and just whacks him. I'm like, what? Wow, there's some street shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, and they start beating him, and like at the same time, Peter denies him a couple of times, 3 times, right?
Mm,
And
yes.
then Jesus said, "Well, you think you're gonna be with me this entire time? You're like, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna protect you." And he's like, "No, you're gonna deny me 3 times before the cock crows." Like, oh,
Mm,
and then he realizes, and he runs away. He's like, "I'm not worthy of any of this." Uh,
yeah.
it's funny
And
knowing his fate of being like one of the main reasons why Christianity spread throughout the world, but knowing that this was his rock bottom.
yeah, but of course it's kind of like, hey, people need like those lessons of like, I fucked up very hard once in my life. I ain't doing that shit again.
Yeah,
Kind
uh,
of deal, you know?
yeah,
For sure, Peter, in his entire life, hasn't experienced a situation like that. So I kind of understand why he just cut him.
yeah.
It's shit's scary. You have an entire mob pretty much
Wanting to kill you.
against you. For what? Believing in something?
Yeah,
Like, we'll get to a scene later where it was complete bullshit on people's judgment, not the movie, but like on people's judgment of how they look at this. Anyway,
yeah.
go on.
Before we move forward, I forgot to mention in the beginning, like this is directed by Mel Gibson, and
Which is very ironic.
yeah, I do like the choice of them making this movie all in Aramaic and Latin. Like
Hmm? Yep.
Aramaic for the Israelites, or yeah, the Jewish people, and then Latin for the Romans.
Hmm.
Uh, and then he's taken to Pilate for the first time, and before that, his wife was like, "There's this holy man. You shouldn't condemn him. He's not supposed to execute him. If you do, you'll have regrets for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like this version of Pilate's a bit, softer than what he was in history. Because in history, he's a very ruthless person. Like executed like hundreds of people just for speaking of rebelling. So
You're right.
even so,
No, he,
nice.
yeah, he was very like he was kind of like the sympathetic eyes. Like he's the one who's like shocked at the people like deciding to pretty much execute this man for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't know, but probably just spreading the word saying he's the king of all truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I get it that it will hurt business in the religious, temples, but like, this man is not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, and then he brings him in for a bit. He's like, "I can let you go," and he's like, "No, you can't. You really can't."
You really can.
Yeah.
Like, like, what was hard here was there was a scene where they represented a murderer and Jesus,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Please choose. Who would you like me to execute?" Everybody kept pointing at Jesus, and you could see the cocky ass like murderer laughing. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, but for a bit, he's like, "What did he do? I'm free though."
Yeah, he's like, alright. But like you just see the shock in what's his name again?
Uh, Pilate.
Pilot's like face. He's just like, you people are crazy.
Yeah.
This man has done something obviously wrong. While this one, nothing.
Yeah.
Where
And then they make it personal with him. It's like, if you don't do anything about this, you're no friend of Caesar. It's like,
right,
fine. But you know what? This is your problem first. I'll send him you, back to you so King Herod can decide what to do. And King Herod's like, "I'm going to send him back to Pilate." You're like, okay, that's interesting.
Jesus just being tossed from one ruler to another.
Yeah.
Stop it. But like here, the what's the name of the king again?
Herod?
Yeah, like he was asking Jesus, "You're the one with all the miracles. Please show me. I will let you go if you show me." And of course, Jesus is like, "You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
There are reasons for those miracles, and this ain't it. Sorry,
Yeah.
but
One of the people in Herod's court is like, "Oh my god, that is him."
right,
Yeah.
yeah, the one with the earrings. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And then after he's been sent to Pilate, he's like, "You know what? How about let's scourge him first, but not too badly. Emphasis on not too badly.
What is it? Like, okay, they were doing sorry, they were doing these like, I don't know what you call those sticks.
Yeah.
Oh, like that it just like first level hazing. Like they were just sticks.
Yeah.
Sure, they left marks in it for sure. It was very painful. It's like, all right, I think this is one out of many horrible things that are gonna happen to Jesus. Nope, they go instantly to the fucking whips. I was like, oh no!
Like when you see what it does to the tape, right? This
yeah,
not gonna end well.
dude. Like once he like laid it onto the table, it stuck to the table, and
Yeah.
he had to yank that thing out. I was like,
Yeah.
they're not gonna show us this, right? Like they're not gonna be like, oh, they're gonna let us
away.
hear the sounds, let us see the Jesus reaction, and that's pretty much it. Then we see the aftermath. No. We go through everything. We see every lashing, every fucking like, oh god, it was just horrible. To
There's
watch. Like,
one
what
point
was-
where it gets
Yeah?
stuck on him. Like, oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god!
That's the thing. The entire time, like whip. Okay, it cuts. The other whip, the one with like the one that gets stuck on the table, it got stuck, and the guy had to yank. I was like, I don't like. And then after it, we're not gonna go through every single whip, okay?
No, but one time it did hit his face. Like, oh my god!
Oh yeah. And the guy pretty much said, flip him over. Like, man's pretty much frying up a patty. You're like, why?
Yeah. And at one point, he just stops reacting to the whip. Like, he's dead. He's dying at this
Yeah.
point.
Dude, the amount of blood Jesus lost this entire movie, he should have been dead a long time ago. Fuck. Shit.
Well, a bit of behind the scenes info. Like, obviously, they didn't whip poor Jim Caviezel in real life because that's cruelty. They had a prosthetic back to show, added effects and stuff. And then, like, behind him was a fake post so the people could strike with it, and he just had to sell it. Apparently, one of them overreached and whipped him for real.
Yeah.
And then the first time, it knocked the wind out of him. And he said in an interview, like, I may have been Jesus that day, but man, the things that came out of my mouth was from the devil. And then the worst part is it happened again. And there's a shot where Jesus' hand is just shaking from the shock. And that's actually Jim Caviezel, like, reacting to it.
Oh,
And he
no.
really scarred up his hand. There's a lot of misfortunes that happened for Jim Caviezel, and we'll get to those along the way. But yeah.
But, like, you see kind of, like, the life draining from Jesus
Yeah.
at this point.
And
Like,
the
you
fact
see him,
that-
like...
His mom's there too. Like, my God, stop.
Oh, yeah, Mary was just watching everything.
Yeah. And
How hard would that be?
John too. Like, you seeing your friends being tortured to death. Like, I can't do anything.
Who was the girl? She was the prostitute that Jesus, like,
Yeah.
saved, right?
Yeah, I think her name's also Mary.
Alright.
She
was a prostitute, right?
Yeah. Like a prostitute accused of like witchcraft or something. That's why they were throwing rocks at her in the flashback. Yeah, that's the other thing. We see flashbacks to things when things were way more better in life.
Yeah, where, like, the good deeds of Jesus. Like, they're not just like, oh, y'all know what Jesus did. They didn't show everything. They didn't show him walking on water and changing water into wine, but, like, you saw why people looked up to him, why people respected him.
Yeah.
More than what the priests
Yeah.
did, like,
How charismatic he was. Like, that makes sense. If someone's going to start a religion about peace and love, this is how it starts.
Yeah.
Uh,
And, like, just saying, the prosthetics for this, I'm gonna give it a chef's kiss, but also I want to throw up into a bucket. But, like, like, it was so real because they would, like, grab Jesus, like, around the arm, but, like, his arm's all shredded up, and he would grab it and, like, pull him. I was like, oh God.
Also, poor Jim Caviezel had to have a prosthetic eye. His
Yeah,
one
yeah,
eye
it
shot.
was-
And, like,
yeah.
the entire time he just had to walk around set like this. And, like, he would perpetually get migraines. Like, it was the worst for him, poor guy.
I mean, there we go. I guess he's selling it.
Yeah, man. And then after they whip him, Mary and the two Marys get clots from Pilot's wife, and they wipe the blood. Like, wow, man, it's crazy to think what humanity did back then, where you think like ancient Rome was the peak of civilization, and that's not the peak. This is just brutality at its worst.
Yeah, like this is pretty much savagery
Yeah,
at this point. Like this is what people would like. Oh no! Like they were the type of people who were like, oh no, the savages attacked us. But yet, if you're condemning a man, the actual savage comes out.
yeah. And then they take him to a shed or like inside a building where they give him the crown of thorns. Like, why?
I hate that. I hate that. No, because when like they kind of gave the effect of like, oh, okay, this thing's sharp.
Yeah,
Because the guy who was transporting it, he was getting his finger stuck on it. And once they finally put it on, they whacked his head. I was like, oh.
I don't know. First they start pressing it into his skull. Like, ugh.
Okay. I rather not. We don't talk about the gruesome parts. Anyway, they put the thorn on his head, and they put like a red robe, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're the king!" And they're pretty much mocking him.
Yeah, and then they bring him back to Pat, and he's like, "Oh my god." Damn.
And yeah, we get the quote, the quote of like, "Hey, just say the word, I will let you go." And he's like, "You cannot let me go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I already know how this ends, but I was like, damn, Jesus, just say you gotta go.
I like the fact of like him barely being able to talk because
Mm.
of all the bloodless and shit. And then
And like, I think they put like prosthetic teeth on him.
yeah, he
Yeah.
had a prosthetic
Just so-
nose and changed Caviezel's eye colors too.
Yeah, they pretty much had to do this just to show like to sell the effect of this man is pretty much drained of all life. Like
Yeah.
he looked like a starving man.
Yeah,
Like he was going into like you know how that like what starving person looks like.
yeah.
He can't look like that.
Yeah,
At
I
this
don't know
point.
if you've ever seen the the set photos of like Caviezel getting lunch in full makeup. It's like crazy. Like, oh, okay, I forgot you were in this role.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not
But yeah.
lie though, I still do respect the fact that like, damn, they for 2004 they sold gore.
yeah. Oh my god.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm just thinking that
no shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is a story about an execution, torture and execution. You can't not
yeah,
show it.
no, because like when you're a kid and you like go to church and you see the murals of Jesus carrying the cross, he doesn't look like he's like
Dying.
probably at death's doorstep.
Yeah.
No, he looks like a guy carrying the cross up to the where he's gonna die. Here you see just a lashed man probably went through a cheese grater. No offense, but like that's what it looks like. Carrying this cross, and it was so hard to watch. I'm like, again, I was 8.
But yeah,
Uh,
they're like, you're no friend of Caesar if you let this guy go. And he's like, fine, I'll wash my hands of it. I'm not responsible for this man's death.
yeah, you gotta love that metaphorical. Like, my hands are clean,
Yeah.
and you see the priest very much like, how do you want this? For sure, I think at this point, actually forgetting his name.
Pilot?
Pilot. Fuck, his name's so easy to remember, but I keep forgetting. At this point, he was like, I could kill him right now. Like, I like for sure he was like, I could find quicker ways just to end this guy's suffering. Please, it's harder for me to watch, and I've seen a lot of shit. While the priest is like, nah, crucify him. No, I could legit make this crucify him. Alright.
You also see the Romans' definition of crowd control because you see one soldier just bash his shield against like, another projectile.
yeah,
Oh my
it's just
God.
like whack. Because everybody just wants at Jesus. I'm like, yo, he's already getting there. Just fucking wait.
Yeah. And then
Damn. Yeah, no pun intended.
you get to the scene where he has to carry his own cross, and according to many reports, poor Jim Caviezel had suffered a separated shoulder because of this. Like him carrying like oh, poor bastard.
Yeah, no. What, they didn't have like a prop wood? They
Yeah.
actually made a wooden cross and made the actor
Carry it.
haul it?
Yeah, they were committed.
Okay. I guess, but Mel Gibson, God, there's a thing called foam?
Right.
They make pretty realistic shit nowadays,
And then he falls a couple of times. Once I like the not like but like the scene with his mom coming to his aid for a bit. It's touching. Like
And
okay.
it like flashbacks to like when he tripped as a kid, and of
Yeah.
course the mom like ran in. Yeah, this was a sweet like and he was like, "Hey, just look at me, mom. I'm gonna change the world."
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but like that's what he pretty much said to his mom. He's gonna make things new,
Yeah.
and
I like this scene of like he's going through the crowd and like it goes back to Palm Sunday when he's just opposed to like him now and then him being welcomed into the city.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I think he falls down another time and then they're like, he can barely walk. They'll get someone to help him at least, and they get this guy and he's like, or just remember, I'm not the criminal, he is. And you're like, oh well, thanks asshole. Sure.
oh, but I mean, like, I gotta get it because, like, if you're carrying a cross, other people might think that you are being condemned as well, and they start throwing rocks at you when you're like, I'm just trying to help this guy. Look again. These are very human aspects to people. Yes, it is like, oh, he's Jesus, he's the main character. You should help them, even if you do get whipped. Nah. These are human characters being like, hey, we're out here for ourselves, you know. Well, of course, he does get pissed off, and once Jesus fell again, people started battering on Jesus, and the Romans were just watching now.
Yeah.
They weren't even trying to stop the crowd. And he pretty much had enough of it because, again, it's savagery.
Yeah.
This is not like a sight you want to see regular people that you see every day go through.
Yeah, and he's like, he's already dying. Why are you making him suffer more? Why?
Exactly. And there was a lady that like came up to him, and I think that's where they got like that cloth where
Yeah.
Jesus' face is pretty much filled with blood. He wipes his face, and had like this Forrest Gump moment of like
Ah.
printed face on shirt, you know,
Uh.
and became the most famous like piece of cloth in this.
Damn right. And then they make it to what do you call it again? Calvary.
Yeah, I
Uh.
think. Dude,
yeah.
again, I'm the Christian here, but you know more shit.
Yeah, yeah. That's because he didn't reach our high school Sunday schools where it was really like.
Yeah. Like they didn't drill it into my head. Look,
Yeah.
I just know the general gist.
And then, if your stomach wasn't churning on till now, it definitely will here. Cause oh my god, like I want to know how and why people were like, I have found a new way to make people suffer. Well, let's nail them to a fucking tree.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah, and like, I was like, okay. Seeing Jesus being like tossed into the gravel, by the way,
Yeah.
with all these lesions and like cuts, I was like, it is already hard to watch. And I'm like, ah.
Although I do like the reaction of Simon when he's walking. He's like, I really don't think he did anything wrong.
Right? And he just,
Yeah.
like, well, shit. Well, we're already gone this far.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's no stopping them.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like,
yeah, seeing Jesus being thrown into the rocks, like, stop, please.
and like you see him being laid, pretty much laid down on the cross. Dude, I get like this is the first like seeing the skin, and you know what skin looks like once it gets a little bit peeled off. I'm like, I'm
And then
sorry.
you constantly flash back to the Last Supper. He's like, this is my body, this is my blood. You're like, cool, but can we stop? Oh, before going that, he says something along the lines of, in the flashback at least, like, you know the verse of, love one another. If you love only those who love you, is there a real point to it? Again,
Okay.
I'm an atheist, but like there are really good takeaways from this. Like I agree with that. The meek shall inherit the earth. That's a good lesson. Like
What?
the meek shall inherit the earth. That's a pretty good saying. Pretty good lesson. And like I may be an atheist, but I'm not like no everything they say is bad. No, it's like I'll just take what I can get.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know the borderlines of wrong or right. At
Yeah.
least, like, come on.
I think my favorite flashback was the Sermon on the Mount,
The what?
where Jesus
Oh.
talking to the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Another behind the scenes thing is like, poor Jim Caviezel got struck by lightning when they were filming that scene.
What?
Like he knew, like I'm so gonna get hit by that lightning, and like when they said cut, his hair was on fire. And Mel Gibson's like, what the fuck, and they put it out. Apparently, when he was on the cross, he got struck by lightning again. Go figure.
Mel Gibson better have paid this man a lot of money.
But yeah, he's laid on the cross, and wow, this scene is. I don't know what's more brutal, the scourging scene or the nail scene, to be honest.
They were all bad.
Like the
Like,
first, the
okay.
first strike, like, oh my god.
No, this is the thing again. You would think that they would be like, okay, cut away to like Mary's face and be like, oh, see how the shocked she is, and you just hear the sound of Jesus suffering, and you, nah, they show them putting the nail in, and I'm like, oh god, and then you see Jesus resisting. They had to dislocate his like shoulder.
I think out of all the scenes that made my stomach churn the most, like, ugh.
No. Sorry, for me it was the whipping scene. Like that was a little bit too much.
Just hearing the bone pop, like, when I was a kid, I was like, or when back in high school, I didn't really register. I'm like, oh, you just stretched him, right? And then now I'm like, oh my god, stop.
Right.
And then
And
when
they had to go to the feet, and at least that one they cut away from.
at least.
Ah,
And then
shit.
they turn him over to make the nails more secure. I'm like, again, why? Stop.
Like, to be honest, I really thought they were gonna like while he was like on there, like here he was like hanging a bit.
Yeah.
For sure, painful still. But I thought they were gonna have his like face and belly on gravel. I was like, you know, you don't need. Okay, thank God. Again, no pun intended.
And then I always wondered, like, how do they make the crosses stand? Like, well, I got my answer here.
Yeah, they dig a hole
Yeah.
and
And
they
then-
pull it.
The sudden jolt and stop against nails. Like,
Okay, we don't need to describe every gruesome scene in this fucking movie.
oh yeah. And then the last 20 minutes or so, like the last 3 hours of his life. I just don't get why the thieves beside him were not as badly beaten up as he was.
I don't know as well.
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
Why do they look fine? They got
Right?
sentenced to the same thing I did. What the fuck?
It's like they're looking at him like, damn.
And one of the thieves on his right was like who was ridiculing him the entire time. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck. Man, shut the fuck up. And then he had like a crow start kicking on his eyes. I was like, ha!
Ah, karma.
And of course the other one, I forgot their names. For sure they were in the Bible.
I only remember them from Uncharted. I'm sorry.
Right? Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Like it was one of the crosses that had like the map in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Saint Dismas or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be wrong.
Comment below if you know. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and the other guy on the cross was pretty much asking for forgiveness, and like, will you have me beside you when we go into paradise? So I'm like, all right. Yeah, pretty much Jesus was like, yeah, him, nah. The other guy, nah.
Nah. And then you see a montage of the 3 hours, and you're like, thank God this is going fast at least. So I don't think I can
Oh, yeah.
stomach anymore.
No, the fact that like they didn't kill Jesus instantly, they kind of like let him marinate.
And apparently,
Sorry.
one last behind the scenes info for when poor Jim Caviezel's hanging there, barely clothed, he got hypothermia. And then he got pneumonia.
Mel Gibson. The fuck, man. What the fuck's wrong with you?
And then,
Like, pun intended, Jesus Christ went through a shit ton for you, Mel Gibson.
it's funny that at the time Jim Caviezel was also 33 and his initials were JC. I guess it was meant to be. Uh,
Yeah.
and then
And
you see
yeah.
how this plays out. His mom talks to him for a bit. And then Jesus, I am thirsty. And then he goes, God, why have you forsaken me? And then that's when he's like, alright, it's time to, it's accomplished. I'm gonna go now. And I surrender my spirit to you. And then he dies. And if the Romans were confused until this point, they were more confused. Like, why is the ground shaking when he dies? Why is it raining
Right.
so hard? I am
Right.
confused
They're
and
like-
scared.
Why did the temple split in two? Right? Like all of the priests were like, I think we fucked up.
Yeah. And then the other two guards like break the legs of the thieves. Like, okay, that's brutal.
Yeah, I was like, why though? Why?
To make them die faster, I guess. Cause no, wait, cause I don't know.
That was the dumbest. If that's the actual logic to it, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
No, there's some logic to that because like when you're in that position for that long, your breathing's compromised.
Right. Once it goes like this, you
Yeah.
can't breathe properly.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes way more sense because like we gotta kill him. He start hitting his feet. I was like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. But now that you clarified, right? Forgot when somebody's in a crucifix position and they get a little bit of slack now.
Yeah.
It does get harder for the lungs to expand.
No, one of my classes like, I don't get why the thieves scream when they hit them. Like, I don't know, man. If someone broke your kneecap, what would you do?
Right? You wouldn't scream either.
Right? Oh man. But yeah, the temple's pleasant too, and I like how the guy's so in shock that he burns his hand to a crisp. Essentially, he's like, I think we fucked up. And then
I think he didn't burn it. He just got burnt. Did he?
he's like,
Oh,
my
fuck.
hand. Yeah, like it's hot. And then the last shot.
Wait. What did he touch?
So one of those, I don't know what do you call it, man.
Did it have the fire on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring up.
And the last shot is the shot of Satan, essentially, in the feet. I think that's
Yeah.
Satan. That's what the movie's implied.
Look, if Satan was there, or if the devil was there, he didn't need to be. Like, if I had to go through this entire movie and you took out the devil, I would have still gotten the same movie.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't see a snake being crushed by Jesus' heel. That's it. But, like, I don't get, like, what, he was just looking over, he wasn't even stopping it. Like, wouldn't it benefit this, like, the devil to stop the execution?
I guess I don't know, right? Maybe just at that point, if I'm just guessing, he could only like whisper in people's ears. It is
I
all I
guess
can
so.
do.
I guess.
And then
I didn't want a bad game.
should I say I like the shot? I like the shot of the body being brought down and Mary holding the body because it's
Oh, yeah, it is.
similar to that famous statue by Michelangelo.
Yes.
And then the end of the movie is, again, if you know, you know, Jesus being resurrected, and it's a happy ending. I would say it's a happy ending.
The king is back, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, yeah, I would say happy ending. He just has a hole in his hand now.
yeah,
And, cool. Those are right.
yeah, and this starts a global religion that has brought a lot of beauty in the world, at the same time, a whole lot of ugliness.
Like a lot of misinterpreted messages.
Yeah.
And a lot of abused power.
Yeah. At the same time, some of the best leaders in history, like Martin Luther King, were guided by the Bible, and what he accomplished because of it, through his faith and his actions, I would think benefited humanity as a whole.
And on the other hand, there were the Spaniards, who kind of like the message pretty much went over their heads and were like, you know what, we could use this
Yeah.
to take over this little archipelago.
And like, as if nailing someone to the tree wasn't enough, They would invent whole lot of other methods of making you wish you weren't alive anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Anyway, what would you rate this movie?
Alright. This is gonna be a difficult because it is, I would say, a historical representation of this event, and it has been depicted realistic. Because once you see murals or pictures of Jesus's crucifixion, it is very cut and clean. You don't see the torture behind it. You don't see the gravity, the weight of what Jesus is doing. Not to bash on any stained glasses in any churches, but you don't really depict it that well. You see a little bit of drop from here to there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's an artist's choice.
Yeah.
Less is more. I get you. But here, Mel Gibson just went all out, and it kind of opened my eyes to the fact, like, what does suffering for everybody's sins look like? And I will agree. This looks like it. For sure, it could look like something else, but this depicts it very well. The story was pretty much, on point. I don't know if the devil was around when Jesus was being crucified, but, like, other than that, yeah. I don't know if somebody helped Jesus as he carried the cross, but
Yeah.
that it showed the characters and the people around Jesus, and this is why they respected and somewhat put him on a pedestal. Like, this man doesn't deserve what he's getting, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, but, like, I'll give this one a 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Because story and they kind of, they legit went hard on this whole. They didn't make it like everybody spoke English for some reason.
Yeah, like, that's weird.
Yeah, right. They stuck with Latin. They stuck with
Aramaic.
Aramaic, and, like, I respect that. The set designs looked amazing. Everybody did a good job. The story was there. Yes, if you know the story, you know the story. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 or an 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a little bit of a bump down because this is so hard to watch, and I do have a little bit of trauma from it.
Yeah, I'll also give it an 8. Like, as you said, this movie just shows you. Again, I've heard people say that this is just a snuff film. I'm like, but again, it's about the trial and execution of an individual at a time where humanity was not really civilized, So, of course, if we're going to tell the story and commit to showing it in such an unflinching way, I have to give you respect for that. And,
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, it's how it went down to a lot of people who were crucified by the Romans. So they went through this too. So I got to give it praise for, like, not shying away from how graphic it was. And Jim Caviezel did such an amazing job. It's a shame we don't really see much of him anymore. I wonder why.
You wonder why the man got struck by lightning, went through hypothermia, broke his fucking shoulder while carrying the cross.
Yeah, but he can
got whipped.
He can do other movies. He can do safer movies. Can be in a rom-com for all you know. It'll be fine.
I mean, he was in Person of Interest and Outlander.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least he still has a career. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he's acting, but it's not like this, the standouts.
Yeah.
Because the standouts might actually kill him.
But yeah, it's a well-made movie and well-directed too. And again, historically accuracy and pushing away Mel Gibson's own bad deeds aside, this is just a very good movie. The only problem is that it's not rewatchable. It's very not rewatchable. Like
there's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, and if you're parents, if you plan to show this to your kids, maybe wait a while till, like, maybe 15.
I think 16.
Yeah, like, maybe if you wanna, just show them when they're 18, and they can comprehend it better. But yeah, that's been a video on the Passion of the Christ. Yes.
And oh, by the way, to everybody who's watching, if there are any inaccuracies or any historical inaccuracies that we've mentioned, please do correct us in the comments below. Again, we don't know everything, but if you do know something, it's not.
Yeah.
Take us home, that's all.
Yeah. So you gave it an 8 and I 8.5 and I gave it an 8, so that seems fair. Yeah.
Mhm.
You can find us at Facebook at facebook.com/Geeks and Degenerates. We react to trailers, we stream video games, and we did a live stream on our origin stories of how we all met and our 1-year anniversary. So check those out individually. You can find me at Yandalphus1995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at John G. I'm on Instagram. Don't mind my dogs.
All right. And please remember to stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, and get vaccinated if you can. Hope you guys had a good Holy Week. Advance Happy Easter. We'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.